I'm Anil Kumar, and here is question number 7 from the test paper on combination of functions. Let us look into this in further details. Question number 7 is calculate f times g of x for each of the following pairs of functions, state the domain. Now what I notice is that some students forget to state domain, right? If you don't state the domain, you lose marks. Remember that part. Now these are 3 different questions from the test paper. You can pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my suggestion. So when we say product of these two functions, and it's just a combination, that product could be done only on common domain. So let's look into these functions. We have restrictions on tan, right? So the tan function, in tan function, whenever sine over cos, correct? So whenever cos is 0, tan will not be defined, right? So let me sketch the cosine function here, which is kind of like this, right? Sine over cos is tan. So these are the 2 points which are pi by 2 and 3 pi by 2, for which tan is not defined, right? So as far as domain is concerned, we have pi by 2 plus minus n pi is not in the domain. That is very important for you to understand, okay? Because f of x is not valid in that particular domain, right? Now let us simplify it. So I'm not doing it in details, but short answers I'll be providing you with. We have f of x equals to 3 times tan x. G of x is 4 times cos of 7x. So f times g of x is, we can multiply these two, right? So it is 3 tan 7x times 4 cos 7x, right? Now in such cases it is better to write tan as sine over cos. So okay, let me do this one. Okay, so we'll do this as 3 times 4 is 12, and tan is sine 7x over cos 7x, and of course cos cannot be 0, right? And we have cos of 7x. Now cos of 7x cancels out, correct? So what you really get here is 12 sine 7x, correct? But don't forget to write the domain. Let me write domain here. D of x for the product of these functions will be x belongs to real numbers, where x is not equal to pi by 2 plus n pi, right? Plus n pi, right? Where n is integers, right? So where n belongs to integers. So that is the domain for this particular function, and it's very important to write this domain. Tan has a time period of pi, right? So this formula is a general formula which takes care of the domain. Perfect. Now let's look into the second question, right? So second one is f of x times g of x. So you got to multiply them. Within the square root we have 3x squared and 3x squared. Now clearly, since it is x squared, it is never negative, correct? So in this case, domain is x belongs to real numbers, right? So there is no restriction, but you have to write the domain. Perfect. Now let us write down the answer for this. F of x times g of x will be, when you multiply, you get 3 times 3x squared. Perfect. So it is 9x squared. So that is what you get. The last one here is f of x times g of x will be, let's do it here, f of x times g of x. It could be written like this also, right? Both are the right ways of writing it. So we get 11x minus 7 times 11x plus 7, right? That is difference of squares. So 11x whole square minus 7 square. That is what you get in this particular case. And when you expand it, 11 is 121. So you get 121x square minus 49. So that is your answer. And the domain you should mention, don't forget that part, x belongs to real numbers, right? Both are straight lines, and when you multiply them you get a parabola. There are no restrictions at all, right? So remember to answer the question completely. That is the key thing here. I hope that helps. Thank you and all the best.